Hi, I'm Elaine Brewster. Welcome to Aspects of Energy, a forum where we talk about ways to raise your energy. And today we are so very happy to have Debbie Davis on with us. Debbie actually wears many hats. I will let her decide how many of those she wants to share with you. But the two I'm thinking of today is that she ended up being a massage therapist. It kind of dropped into her lap. And then some hurt from doing that then caused another energy products from the company, the Japanese company Nikken, to drop into her lap. And I see both of those helping each other and helping all of us. So why don't you tell us your story a little bit, Debbie?
Hi, you guys. Thank you for allowing me to be present and to have the honor of, hi, Hattie James. Hi, everyone. I think this is really exciting. And it's really interesting. Well, first I need to say thank you for inviting me. I just literally got off the road. I work out of town and I thought I had timed it with it 15 minutes to get here before it started. And I only made it 5 minutes before it started. So here we are, and perfect timing always. And I just got interviewed by Vance Rogers in a different way because he asked questions. So now it's like random, and I've got a free flow, and I get to pick whatever I want to. And I'm like, holy moly, you guys have asked somebody who talks a lot to like zero in on energy medicine is what I'm hearing today. And as you said, Elaine, it did drop into my lap. My story, I won't tell you my whole story, but I can tell you this. I'm going to tell you just a little blurb, what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. That's what I'm going to tell you. And so back in the day, so I got exposed to Nikken in 1999, and the way that it came about was I was not looking for this. I also was not looking to be a massage therapist, and I wasn't looking to go back to college. I was just coming away from a time in my life. I was in my late 20s, and was coming out of a time in my life where I'm going to just say, God, could you please help me with my words, my thoughts, and my actions so that I may tell these people whatever it is you want me to say. So with that said, I'm going to start again. But in my late 20s and my early 30s, I was coming away from a time in my life where I had made consistently bad choices, and I found myself in not great places. And I was beginning again, still young enough to begin again. I mean, any time of life we can begin again, but I was beginning again and didn't quite know what I was going to do. But I ran into a gal I worked out at the gym a lot. I was very active, and I was doing odd jobs here and there, but becoming very popular at very mundane things like housekeeping and yard work. I was doing that quite nicely. And this lady crossed my path, came into my life, and she started talking about something called new decision therapy. I had no idea what she was talking about, but the crux of it was that she could tap into cellular memory, which is energy, and she could find out why someone was sabotaging their life, remove the lie that is tucked inside, causing this crazy action that is based on a memory that isn't true. And she could find out how to get out the lie, put in the truth, and then practice new behavior. And I thought, it caught my attention because here I came from that place of making really bad choices over a various length of time. Good and bad choices, but more bad than good at that time. So I came out of it and came to this lady. Her name was Candace, and she taught me this technique called new decision therapy. And in that, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I want to do this work. I want to help young people in the juvenile hall. And so I did, and so I said, so I took it. I was certified. I took it to the local alcohol and drug administrator, and I said to him, Frank, I want to do this in the juvenile hall. Look at this. And he looked at me, and I showed him a video of my teacher. And he looked at it and he said, Debbie, this is really good work. He said, but you don't have any credibility. You can't walk into the juvenile hall and tell them that you want to put your hands on teenagers. And he's like, you have to have little letters behind your name. And so I had to go back to college. In my mind, I said, okay, then I've got to go to college. I got to get my degree. The standard way of being in the world. And so I did that. And within 2 weeks, I was enrolled in college to get my bachelor's degree. I was working 4 part-time jobs and I was on my way. What occurred to me at that time was that if I was going to touch teenagers, because of what he had said, that I better get my certificate to touch too. So while I was going to college to get my bachelor's degree, working 4 part-time jobs, I also went to massage school. Now that happened, I think it was about 4 years that I was doing that, because it takes a minute to get a degree like that. And so I was working like 7 days a week, and on the job, on one of those, one of my part-time jobs was working at the ski park, and I was supervisor for the day, and I am a snowboarder, and I bent over, again, just in my 30s, but I bent over to take off my snowboard to relieve somebody of their position, and my back stopped. Literally, I said this recently, but I was like an L. I bent over and I couldn't stand back up. And I was quite stubborn. I tend to try not to be today, but I still have that streak of stubbornness in different areas. However, I needed ski patrol to take me down the hill. They took me down, put me in the employee room. I was just saying, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Well, I wasn't. And at the end of the day, I had to go to the doctor. At the doctor, he did the exam and he said, there really isn't anything we can do for you. He says, but here's some narcotics. Why don't you call us in a couple of days and tell us how you're feeling? So I'm very sensitive to narcotics. I tend to not take them at all, but I was in so much pain, I decided that I would take one by his, prescription. And I went to the store to pick up the rest of the prescription. And while I was there, I became under the influence. And I live in Mount Shasta, California, and that's a very small town, 3,000 people. And so I know a lot of people because I've lived here for 45 years between here and Weed, California. And my friends saw me in the store and I was not doing well. I was basically kind of dragging my feet and getting around with a shopping cart because I was still in a lot of pain, even though I was under the influence. And I told them I was very hurt. And I said, please make sure I get home okay. And so everybody, there was like a group that was taking care of me now. And so no sooner did I get home than 2 of my my girlfriends had launched a new business, and they came to my door and they knocked on the door and I opened it and they had this big black bag and they said, we just launched this new business and we think we can help you. We heard that you hurt your back. So I said, okay, anything, you guys come on in. And so they laid down a magnetic pad on the floor. They laid me down on the magnetic pad on the floor. They had a pillow that put under my head and I was on my tummy. So I turned my head to the side and then they put a blanket up to about my bum. So my legs were covered, but my back was not. And they proceeded to take out this very strange looking bar thing that had balls in the middle. And it was a magnetic roller that we call the Mag Creator. And they rolled this magnetic Mag Creator up and down my back. And they did it. I don't know how long they did it. All I know is that they did it for a while. And after that time had passed, it felt like about half an hour. They said, okay, go ahead and turn over and we're going to leave you here and we'll be back and check on you later, which meant the next day because by now it was nighttime. So I took that treatment. I went to sleep. I had the best night's sleep ever. And the next morning I got up, and although it wasn't perfect, I went back to work on light duty in 3 days. And in that experience, I saw a bunch of, I had a lot of ahas, and in a recent call, I said oohas, because at first I was hurting so bad and I was getting relief. And then the second thing I thought of after I had gotten my relief was, oh my gosh, look at all the people I can help. So I was still in my early 30s and I said, okay, I will launch this business with you. And at the same time, I had graduated my massage school. I was nearing graduation up with my bachelor's degree. And I ended up working I went to a spa. Stewart Mineral Springs was a spa here that had been open since the early 1900s. And my girlfriend was the manager there. And I had gone there they had hot mineral baths, and I'd gone there to relax. And, all of these other things were going on in my life. I was graduating. I was a massage therapist. I had this magnet stuff in my life, and my friends all, well, what are you doing these days? And I'm like, I just graduated massage school. And she said, well, you need to get on our list. And so I did. And within a couple of more weeks, I found myself working as a massage therapist at a spa. And I started using these energy medicine products that I just spoke of that they had used on me. I started putting them into every single massage that I did. And it was absolutely an amazing experience. And Elaine Brewster there has a picture of the Meg Creator, because I still use that today on every single client. The only client I do not use that on is a client that has a pacemaker. And although I have had people with pacemakers able to receive that energy medicine, there is a chance that it could reset a pacemaker. So I err on the don't do it side, because we could put ourselves at risk of resetting that pacemaker. So on that note, it feels very funny to be talking and not to be pausing or anything. And so my career was launched. I had a bachelor's degree. I was working at a spa as a massage therapist, and I had launched my Nikken business, and they were all blended together. My degree was in sociology with a double minor in family relations and psychology, which made me a people person, and my people were on my table, and a lot of them wanted to talk. One of the things that I realized over time, and I also had a teacher. I won't go into all the other hats that I have. I'll just maybe mention them a little bit. But I had people call me. Let me back up just a hair. When I launched the magnets, and I launched my business, I started telling everybody I knew. I was going to parties. I was going to, and I would get people to let me come over and give them this rollout that I had shared with my other friends. I did what they called 21 clubs, where you pull 21 people together and you do 21 of those massages. And then my experience was you talk, and have fun, and laugh. And that's what me and my sponsor, my Nikken sponsor, did. And in there, I had that aha that, oh my gosh, I want to do this at the juvenile hall. So I went back not to the drug and alcohol administrator, but I had met the manager at the juvenile hall here in this little Siskiyou County. And I had the opportunity to give her a rollout. And when she turned over, because she was one of those ones on the 21 list, I did like 2 or 3 21 clubs back to back, because I was going for achievement awards at that time. And she turned over because I always left them laying there, like my friends had left me laying there. And I kind of whispered to her and put the eye mask over her eyes and said, I really want to do this on the kids at the juvenile hall. And she was like, when she was ready to get up, which wasn't, 15 minutes later, she says, I want you to come to the juvenile hall and I want you to do this. And so what I had forgotten about until I thought to myself, what am I going to say on this call today? I thought, oh yeah, I took Nikken into the juvenile hall. I made it up. I approached I always want to work with the worst of the worst, which is not really a liability wise at the juvenile hall is not allowed, but it's also not always in my best interest to work with the worst of the worst, though those are the ones that I gravitate towards. So with that said, she said, okay, you can come and you can work with the best of the best. You can give rollouts to the ones who are going to get ready to, they're on their way out and they're transitioning into the behavior that's necessary so that they can be productive members of society again as young people under the age of 18. And so I got to do that. And I went down there, and I went down there once a week, and I think it was Mondays, but it had to be morning before they started their day, because I couldn't interrupt any of what they were doing all day long. So I got to go in there, and for 18 months, I went in there every Monday and I did rollouts on those young ones. And I was able to follow them only while they were in juvenile hall. And I got to give them a piece of paper that was a self-report, like how do you feel before they got on the floor? And then I'd have them self-report on the same form, how did they feel afterwards when they got up from the rollout? So I got to do that for 18 months and it was lovely. What I do know is that people don't get us, and some people don't, not everyone. But when you go into a very, I don't know what the adjective is to use, but it's an institution. When you go into an institution, there's going to be mixed emotion about someone like me going in there and working with the young ones. Like, this is one of the voices that I heard there was, well, I wish I could get in trouble and get a massage. And I was like, oh my gosh, because when I did my undergraduate honors thesis, I really wanted to work with the ones that were being lost. It was a social response to at-risk youth on a rural frontier. And a lot of times what I found was that young ones that had been inappropriately touched or not touched at all, neglected, were part of the problem that was feeding the behavior, not entirely, because it's quite complicated, but those were two symptoms of that. So my being in there and being able to give these young ones this energy and this attention was something, that's not my phone, was something that actually was showing them benefit. And the downfall is that because of liability, I couldn't follow them when they got out. So when the manager moved away and she was transferred to another facility, I chose not to go back in with the new manager. I said, okay, but I remembered that today, it just occurred to me, oh my gosh, I've taken Nikken into the juvenile hall and I worked with at-risk youth. And we used to have a magazine called, I think it was called the Nikken Family Magazine. And I actually had an article in there about this experience. And so, I found that I get to have these amazing experiences of helping people. The other thing I did was at that spa I just told you about, the new managers came on board. It was the owner's daughter, and they were open to learning about energy medicine. And they came into Nikken and actually joined me, went to a Humans Being More training. And I suggested that they turn one of their rooms at the hotel into a wellness hotel room. And so we did that. We put the magnetic bed in, we put the water, we put the air, and the shower. And we had a wellness hotel room. And so we had this flyer up in the office as people came in to book the baths or the massages or the hotel, that said wellness hotel room. And it caught people's attention. And that was how I met my most productive, my late business partner in Nikken, was she came in and she told the front desk, I want to know about this, because she was a nurse and her graduate thesis was on wellness. And she wanted to know, what is this wellness room? So I came in and I interviewed her and I gave her the grand tour. No one was in that room that day. And I got to give her the tour. I had information. I had always have had lots of information to give people. And so she said, I want everything you have on this, because I live in San Francisco, Half Moon Bay, and I am going to drive back tomorrow. And I want to listen and know everything there is to know about this. And I said, okay, I never give everyone everything. I was taught you just give one piece of information, right? So I'm all, but because you're like wanting it so badly, I'll do it. And so I had her sit and her feet were bothering her. So I put her feet on a magnetic product and I said, okay. And I was talking about the wellness room. And I also was talking about the fact that there was a business opportunity, which I learned later that she kept thinking to herself every time I said that. She thought, why is this lady saying there's a business opportunity here, right? She couldn't, she heard it, right? And I didn't want her to feel tricked, because I had felt tricked when someone shared a direct marketing company with me, right? So I wanted to be straight up, let her know there's more to this than just helping people, that you can actually help people help people. And so she sat up there with her feet on the product. I gathered a lot of information. I mean, a lot of it, at least 5 or 6 CDs, brochures. I mean, I sent her home with a packet and I said, okay, here's the deal. If I give you all of this information that you've asked for, then you have to meet me for coffee in the morning before you go, so I can do a follow-up with you on your way out of town. And she said, okay, I'll do it. And so we met. The next day she came for coffee. And again, not again, but I recently had shared this story. And her story is that her feet were uncomfortable a lot of the time, and they never stopped giving her trouble. And I had her sit with the magnets on her feet for that entire time. And then I sent her home with a couple of things. With a pad, a pillow, and a blanket. And because the deal was, I'll give you this information, I'll loan you this pad. You have to bring me this back and meet me for coffee. So when she came for coffee, she said, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is, but my feet aren't bothering me at all. And I want in. And I wanted, and she purchased the entire wellness home in that quick. And that was kind of a miracle. And so that's what it was like. And that's what happened. People wanted to know what it was that I was doing. I was giving treatments to people on my massage table, and more often than not, like over 90% of the time. And again, I gave that rollout to every single person, and I left them on the magnet pad every time I turned them over. I didn't take the pad out from under them. So they got an entire hour or more on the magnetic pad. And many of them had never heard of it before. So while they're lying there, that energy is going through their body, and it's relieving stress and tension. And it's relieving, I call it emotional congestion. And it's also relieving the electronic congestion that we're picking up during the day. And now, and I love this. I heard this from a guy from Europe. He said, we call that e-smog over here. And I'm like, well, great. Then we're going to relieve e-smog. We're going to get rid of energetic congestion, emotion, stress, or tension. And I was having these amazing results. So now I'm going back to that place of the introduction of people knowing what I was doing. I'm not telling you what else I do in this moment. If you want to know, Elaine put my information on the flyer, I think. Regardless, one of my people in my life, it was actually my metaphysical teacher, I'll just say it that way. He calls, he says, Debbie, have you heard of this book? And I said, what book, George? And he said, The Emotion Code. And I'm all, no, I have not. He's all, you've got to get it. You just have to get it, and you have to read it. And I'm all, well, actually, he didn't tell me I had to read it. He told me I had to get it. I'm all, okay, George, I'll get it right now. I'm all, why do I need to get this book? He said, because this guy is saying everything that you do and you've been doing for years. It's all in this book. And I'm all, okay, I'll get the book. So I did that. And funny as that all sounds, because I never launched the emotion code or the body code or any of that. I've always done it the way that I've done it. And I've never even put words to it. I just do my work. But I do know that emotions are energy. And I do know that helping people drop their shoulders off their ears, I call it I wear my shoulders as earrings club. So I always appreciate clients for my job security, because nothing stops them. I can relieve it, but I can't stop it. So I have job security that way. And it's, again, energy. When I can help, serve, and assist and help you relax, and I watch your little the eyes, when they go from being wide open to half lit, I know that the energy is working and that you're relieving yourself of stress and tension, because you're showing up and you're allowing yourself to have an experience. The other, well, I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk, and I don't know how long I've been talking, because that's like 5 years or something like that. I don't even know for sure how long that is, because life goes on. I've been involved in Nikken for a couple of decades now, and the people I've touched and the lives that I've helped are countless. And there are many, and it's various. And there are people that have bought wellness homes, and there's people that have bought a couple of things and had a miraculous results. And always, I learned that if I go after the people and I think I'm going out today and I'm going to help somebody, I share this often too, and that is, oftentimes it feels like I'm chasing a ball in a swimming pool. I just can't quite get it. But if I sit still and I remain the example of energy medicine, that I eat, live, and breathe a Nikken wellness home, I find that I attract people that want to know what I'm doing. And they ask, and I tell them, and I invite them in, and I do what I've done from the beginning, is that is I do a rollout, I do muscle testing, I do product demonstrations and such. And those are the things that I came in doing, and I'm still doing them today.
Okay, I've got a question for you,
Okay.
Debbie. So you've got these, let's just say these out of many, but just these three tools is the emotional aspect and the idea that people are sabotaging themselves. And you've got massage therapy, and you've got Nikken energy products. How do you know which to use on people when you do something with that person? Do you end up just kind of using all of them and one just flows into another? Do they all seem just parts of the whole to you, or do they seem separate? Any of those good questions?
Those are all good questions, but there's a lot of them. So I'm going to start with the ones that I can remember. And that is, first I heard you say that, well, the truth is that there is no separation. I cannot, when I've got energy that comes through me, I can't stop that from going through you when I put my hands on you. I do what's known as Reiki. Once you're a master, you can't say, oh, I won't do Reiki today. So the only thing is that if, like I said, when I do my massage, most people come to me for massage, but I also am now putting myself out there a little differently, doing I'll call it transformative coaching, because that's exactly what it is. And that has a metaphysical component to it. And so in a massage, I let my client tell me what they're wanting and needing on that day. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's merely giving them a little bit of feedback. I tell them I give permission to say, okay, I learned that, and I'm happy to say that a lot of people that come to me have been doing work on themselves. So I feel like they're coming to me and that, so if we liken that treatment to making a new dress, and you got to rip a hem out and there's strings still in the dress from making a new hem, what I like in coming to me is that they've been doing their work. I'm doing the rollout, I'm doing the massage, I'm sharing what's coming up, and what is happening is that it's like I'm pulling out just the last bit of strings that are coming out of that new hem, because they are making huge changes in their lives. Sometimes it's very minute and physical in terms of a third dimensional, non-energetic reality. But then if I get them in my table or into my office for a session with emotional congestion, I'm actually using the roller to address other issues that are coming up, the cellular memory that is causing an energy block in their system. Then that's I don't put them together unless they've asked me to put them together. So because I feel like one could be a violation of another, if you will, without permission to tap into somebody's cellular memory is, I feel, unacceptable professionally. So I've got to keep them separate, if you will. Again, I can't stop the energy from flowing through, but I don't address things that I can see and feel and other things that I can do unless I put them into one of those sessions. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. And so here's the thing that I heard today, and I love this. Because over the years, this is the way the clients come to me, is that, and I'll say it, I won't swear is what I'll do, is I won't swear. And so people come to me, and this is the way it works for me. It's either heck yes or heck no, because there is no heck maybe. It just doesn't work like that. And so I have to follow the lead of the ones that say heck yes. And because if you walk down the road of heck maybe, it's just plain heck. It doesn't go anywhere. So I have to listen. And I listen differently than most. I know that everybody on this call knows this. It's very important when we're working with others that we listen, but then for them to know that we're listening, we repeat back to them what we heard them say. What I heard you say is, and then from that place, we can go to the next place. So I've been having this amazing experience. I've had friends that have not lost their feet because of putting magnets in their shoes. And I've had people that put magnets in their shoes and on their lower back, and they didn't have to have surgeries. And all it did was it assisted them to get the energy moving so that things weren't locked up anymore. And the discomfort that was being caused by the locked up energy shifted, and they were back to having nice range of motion and very uncomfortable in their own skin. And again, each person is different. Each situation is different. But if I stay on task, and I could, like at the beginning when I started tripping over my tongue, I just have to pause and I have to ask God to please help me. Because when I think that I know, then I'm headed down not the best path in the world. But if I can continue in that humble space of I don't know what I don't know, and I still need to ask for help, then I have the opportunity for the entire help of God to come into my life in and through me as me. And so I trust that and I follow that. And what an amazing life that we have because of it, you know. And I was thinking that today when I was doing my gratitudes, because I have a gratitude partner. And she was just on and then she left. But we've been doing gratitude. Every morning we send each other 3 gratitudes. And we've been doing it for years. And some days I don't feel grateful. So what I know about energy and what I know about affirmation is that if I don't feel grateful for what I have in this moment, I can feel grateful for what I'm going to have. And if I just say, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have completed this podcast with Elaine Brewster, then my body doesn't know whether I'm telling the truth or not. My body just knows that I'm saying it and that for it's true. And I can create that reality for myself instead of getting lost in the confusion or the doubting or the fear, and just be sitting still and just be in the moment. Because that's the only place that I have to be able to help people is right here, right now. If I'm fretting over the past or worrying about the future, I'm not present to serve right now in this moment. And I feel very important to be right here, right now, so that I'm present for you. And or not you specifically, although in this moment, indeed, it is you specifically. But when I'm in session, it's important not to be distracted and to listen, not just with my ears, but with my hands and my heart also. And so that's kind of the way that I roll, is everywhere, always, and yet reeled into the moment, because that's where that's where the miracles happen. I've come to believe that, and I don't know how this might sound funny to people, and I guess I would just have to be okay. But for some reason, I've come to believe that when honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness all happen in the same second, I believe that's when a miracle happens. And I have experienced that over and over again. So I continue to just go on. And I say yes. You know, you asked me to be here. I said yes. And I'm so grateful that I am here with all of you. And I'm grateful for my Nikken family, because when I really step back and look at what a big deal, and you know, there are a lot of us that have been here for a couple of decades and we're still here. And I've said this recently, and that is, you know, I learn a lot from the people that are here. I learn a lot from the people that are not here, but I know them, that they're not in Nikken anymore. And I learn a lot from people that have still not heard of Nikken and don't understand that bottled water has plastic in it at any rate. So I just really work on acceptance and willingness, and again, being right here, right now. So I'm going to be quiet and see if you have anything else.
Does anybody else have a question? I'm enjoying just synthesizing and pulling together, you know, the things that I've learned from you, Debbie.
Wow, thank you.
Wonderful.
And that's another thing when I'm doing. So when I do my physical massage, I do trigger point therapy, Swedish, petrissage and effleurage, regardless. I move things around. So I'm moving things physically. So when I work with people, I tell them, I'm not just working with you physiologically. I'm not just working on physiological congestion. I'm also working with energetic congestion. So I work one side and then I work the other side. This is when a client is lying on their tummy. And then when I bring both sides together, I close that being on their tummy with the roller. And now this is an energy thing and it might sound hokey, but it's something that I do and I've done it for a very long time. And that is I roll my magnetic roller, the one that you showed us just a moment ago. I roll that 101 times, and it's based on the energy of the story that comes with the 100th monkey. And I don't know if any of you have heard the story of the 100th monkey. However, in a brief synopsis, it's a National Geographic gig where they were studying monkeys, and they saw that these monkeys were living on an island and they started dying because their food source, which was potatoes, were dirty and they wouldn't eat them. So what happened is somewhere along the line, the monkeys started washing their potatoes. And the way the story goes is that this was also happening on surrounding islands. And the story goes that when the 100th monkey started washing their potatoes on this island, that the energy jumped to the next island, and the next island started washing their potatoes. So the 100th monkey is the energy where enough energy is combined to make a conscious shift. And so I do that before I turn them over. I do 101 rolls before I turn them over. And because the shift happens and they feel it, and the feedback I get is remarkable. And again, everybody is unique and individual, and everybody's experience is their own. So with that, there's a hand. Should I call on it?
Oh, yeah. Dawn Marie, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. I kind of arrived late, but the part that I heard was so intriguing to me. I have a girlfriend and she and I are going to be making a road trip to Mount Shasta.
Oh my gosh, I got to give you my name and number.
You have to. Oh my goodness.
I'll put it in here for everyone because you guys are always welcome to reach me when I'm here. When are you coming?
We're looking sometime around August.
Okay.
And so I've been trying to spoon feed her Nikken Products, but she's not ready to hear it from me. So I would love for her to experience your amazing miracle Nikken technologies with her. So please, yes,
and you could even have her book a treatment with me.
we're going to, definitely. We're definitely going to do that. So I would love to have your contact information. And I'm one of the ones who feel like when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And this opportunity today has just got me so excited. So it's a pleasure to meet you. And my name is Dawn Marie, and I will be catching up with you in the next few months.
Okay,
Dawn Marie, look in the chat. Her telephone number's in the chat.
Thank you
can
so
give
much.
me yours too if you want, Dawn Marie.
Absolutely, I will do that. You are Debbie Davis. Okay.
I am Debbie Davis. Isn't that funny the way it worked out? I mean, my letters in the text, they're all caps.
Oh my, okay. All right, I'm gonna put my contact information in there for you as well, Debbie, and be on the lookout for me, okay?
Okay, I definitely will. And
Oh my gosh.
I know this is very, very exciting. Mount Shasta is a really beautiful place.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've been there, but I didn't know anything about it other than the stones and the magical mountains that are around that place. But to know that there's someone there who does Nikken and who has some amazing technologies with Nikken Products is just, it's mind blowing. So I'm so excited about this call today, Elaine. Thank you, as I always say. You have the right people at the right time.
And I'll say, and we thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome.
You know, I was just reviewing my book the other day, trying to figure out what I put in it. And I found that it really, really was what I intended it to be, which is mind, body, spirit. You know, it's all of them together. And I guess that's partly, I mean, it's not my new soapbox, but it is maybe a stronger soapbox than it even was, you know, when I was writing it, is that this brain and emotions and spirit is connected to our whole body. And in our society right now, if we just go for a location, oh, you fell down and your elbow hurts or whatever, you know, we're not serving us well. We're not doing justice to us enough. I think that we need to pull us all together into one big whole.
Mhm.
I agree. And one thing I do know is, everybody's going to receive information in the way that they can.
Yes.
What I find is more frequently than not, keeping it light and fun is more easily received than serious and stern. And, because I could be like, you need this, you need to listen to me. Or I could be like, well, this may be for you and it may not be for you. But if you can feel that your shoulders are off your ears, maybe you'd want to know more afterwards, and I can exchange information. And now that we have that new, the new Nikken app, I forgot what it's called already.
Nikken share.
There we go. Now that we have that, that's as simple as that is, hey, when we're done, I'll just get your number. I'll send you my website, and we can talk later. I'll do a follow-up with you later. And because I don't like to talk to people when they get off the table. I feel like they can feel that I'm taking advantage of, because I've got their guards down, and I try not to let them think at all after the massage. So yeah, it is energy, and it is about getting rid of the old and in with the new. And the other thing, you just said something that was so, you said heart, body, and soul. And one of the things when I'm doing some fun with my people is not only now you're in my special club, I wear my shoulders as earrings club, but also when when I'm doing my points and when I'm doing the rollout, they go, God, I can feel that in my ear, right? And I'm all, well, do you remember that funny little song we used to sing when we were kids? The knee bone's connected to the hip bone's connected to the shoulder bone. It's really true. And it is all connected. There is no our body doesn't know the arm from it does in the sense of functionality, but on a physical note, it's all connected. They're not separate from one another. So.
All right, we're going to get there.
Woohoo! I'm trying to get this lady's, I'm trying to send her something. So that I got her number in my book.
Good.
Debbie, do you have a website?
I do. I will give you my website. I'll put that in the chat.
Appreciate it. You're awesome.
And it's always under construction. And I just posted, because I just got to do Vance Rogers' Saturday AM live call. And I just posted my interview there with my picture of myself in Egypt. So that was kind of cool. Okay.
It was a good interview.
It's
Sandra, did you have a question?
Yeah. Debbie, when did you go to Egypt?
just a couple of months ago.
Oh, that is marvelous, marvelous. I know Debbie from Nikken, but she was very active with Dave Rolfe. And we had a marvelous time with Dave Rolfe. And Debbie, I was always fascinated with how you could be, I guess you were doing the work. All I know is you sat at a desk and I just imagined that you were working with numbers, but you were always busy typically during his calls. And I was thinking, I can only listen to this man. How did she do all of that? And she would ask appropriate questions or make appropriate comments. And I'm wondering, how can she do these two things as well? But anyway, I admired you from that. And then I got to talking to her and I was telling her I was having difficulties with my son, with our relationship. And I have not forgotten. I've just gotten into Landmark and it has swooped up any extra moments I've had. But I want you to know that I'm still interested in being with you. And I still want to get your support as I break down whatever I'm responsible for in the friction in our relationship.
Nice. Very nice. Can you guys see that? Can you see? My website is simplychoosingwellness.com.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay.
Well, Debbie, you are captivating. I just want you to know I came in a little late and I'm hoping, Elaine, that you recorded this because I need to look at this again. Oh, thank you. You choose the best guests. I don't know how you do it, but you're awesome.
You really are.
Debbie said, I just you know, kind of put it out there and attract. And
Yes, you do.
that's, you know, with her clients. And that's what I feel too. Thank you, Linda.
Yeah.
Well, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You
both.
I agree with you, Linda. I
Yeah.
certainly do.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to scoot and have a good weekend.
You all too. Thank you so much, Elaine.
Ready?
Debbie, you made a difference. Thanks for coming today.
Yeah,
Thank
you
Liz,
made
for
a
the
difference.
compliments.
And I
Yeah.
love her
Okay.
smile. She does what we all want to do. Smile at people, and that'll raise their energy and it'll raise yours.
Yes.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks,
everyone.
Elaine,
Thanks, guys.